Hi friends, welcome to my channel. So if you're over 40 and feeling weak, tired, exhausted or lifeless, then in this video I'm going to discuss the most important temple for you to visit in 2026. Let's begin. So just to give you a brief background that during my last visit to India in 2025, I traveled to a few places which had been on my wish list for a very long time. And no, I'm not talking about visiting Kashmir or Kerala or even Goa. Uh, I have already been to all these places before, at least once, and they all are absolutely amazing places. However, I'm talking about going to the most visited Hindu temple in the whole of India and possibly the whole world, Tirupati Balaji, and also a few temples in the state of Rajasthan, like the famous Brahma temple in Pushkar, the very famous Baba Khatu Shamji's temple, and my most beloved and most favorite Lord Hanumanji's temple at Salasar Balaji. And I must confess that visiting all these religious places with my family was one of the most memorable moments in recent years for me, especially since I now live outside of India and do not get a chance to go to such places that often. However, since the theme of this channel is about rebuilding your life after 40, especially if you have had a rough patch lately, either due to poor health or making wrong career choices, breaking up of your relationship, or maybe general burnout due to years of continuous work, I wanted to draw your attention to the most important temple you must visit to get rid of most of your problems. Yes, I'm talking about visiting the temple inside of your own body, that is taking a deep dive into your own soul. I know this may sound very cliche or cheesy to your ears, but if you were to believe me, it is indeed the truth. The temples which I visited during my last trip to India satisfied my long standing desire to feel the positivity and the collecting feeling of bhakti, but they did not take me any closer to God because I forgot to visit the most important temple inside my own self. But I will definitely encourage anyone watching this video to surely pay a visit to the above temples I mentioned in 2026 or whenever you get a chance later, because my experience was simply phenomenal. Although I will add a caveat here that if you are traveling with little kids or older parents, please do exercise some caution and avoid the peak footfall days. Now, coming back to the main topic of discussion for today, imagine being in the fourth decade of life and still not visited the only place where you live, that is inside your own body. At least I find this very essential now because of the absolute disconnect I feel between my mind, body, and soul. So, after having worked at different jobs and living at different places and spending many years of my professional life in night shifts as a requirement for those jobs, and at the same time making poor food choices, I have found myself way out of my natural circadian rhythm. This is something I could only say after almost 18 years and experiencing issues with my sleep and digestion. And if you are also in a similar boat and struggle with poor sleep and weak digestion, you are not alone. If you find yourself to be very easily triggered by a difficult boss, an annoying coworker, a controlling spouse, a demanding business client, or your growing children, I implore you to look into your own circadian rhythm. There are very high chances that it is out of place because you have had some really tough situations along your journey. And this has most likely also altered the way you breathe and think. And no surprises, your cortisol levels are also very high. You may already have developed some issues like hypertension or anxiety from your unnatural lifestyle. But the good news is you can certainly take control back in your hands by visiting the temple inside your body. Now, those of you who follow the astrological updates would be well aware that the biggest planet in our solar system, Jupiter, is officially transiting into the zodiac sign of Cancer on June the 2nd, 2026, which is today, after almost 12 years. And based on your natal birth chart, this would bring you good or bad results. However, if I were to give you just one piece of advice regarding invoking Jupiter energy into your life, it would be to start practicing deep breathing. This is by far the most effective way to calm your moon or the troubled mind or your Rahu or the overthinking and anxiety and helping you to correct your circadian rhythm. Since in astrology, Jupiter is known as the JEEV KARAKA, that is, it signifies all living beings. It provides prana or jiva, which is opposite to nirjiva, someone who is lifeless or dead. So, whenever you inhale, you are basically invoking in Jupiter. But to literally change your deeper physiology, the inhalation and exhalation must be a far superior quality, and that too in a controlled fashion. Only this can help your overstimulated mind and gut to feel relaxed. And you must honor your physical muscles and lift some decent weights at least a couple of days per week also. At this point, I want to give you a disclaimer that please always consult your medical doctor or your health professional before starting any new exercise or breathing practice, because the advice in this video is purely generic and in no way replaces or diagnoses your health condition. So, moving on. Now, whether you do the traditional way of breathing advocated by Baba Ramdev or another yoga guru, or any of the popular Western way of breathing like box breathing or the 4-7-8 breathing, you must make a promise to yourself that you would start this practice so that the next few months of this year could actually prove to be your recovery months from whatever you are suffering. And breath work or pranayama is one of the most effective way to slow down your anxious mind and provide a tranquil experience which you may have been lacking for many years. And by making use of very deep, slow, and relaxed breathing, you will be able to enter your own body and provide the nourishment which is required. So, whoever your favorite yoga or breathwork expert is, kindly visit their channel and start practicing it. So, with that message, I wish you all the very best and thank you for watching this video. Stay safe and stay happy. Goodbye.